Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on the 2019 live action Disney remake film of Aladdin. Now, as you know, the 2019 film Aladdin was a musical fantasy film and another live action adaptation based on the 1992 animated film Aladdin. And keep in mind the film is meant to have Will Smith as Genie, and I think after sitting down to watch it, properly kind of seeing what the film is trying to do, the best I can say is that it's still got the heart of Aladdin, but it just feels more like trying to tone down certain moments of the film. While the film is meant to follow closely to Aladdin, it does alter some things from the film, like obviously giving more backstory to Jafar, like originally once being a thief, but got a lot more smarter and wants to be more than just number two in the palace of Agrabah. And obviously, yeah, Jasmine's meant to be a bit more feistier. You kind of get this sense that they do give more backstory to her mum, as well as more story about her mum's neighbouring kingdom and how she has to try and play the voice of reason. And I kind of give the film credit is that it's at least trying to keep some of the songs from the original going, but keep them more updated, grounded, and fitting that tone of the wonders of the 1992 film. I think the problem is, I just don't think Mena Massoud as Aladdin was really that interested in playing Aladdin. You get this sense like he's really trying to play this character, but he just comes across like trying to sound a little too serious and not understanding how Aladdin works. The problem that Aladdin also suffers from, I think, as a film, is that it already rushes in Aladdin and Jasmine knowing each other too quickly. And I think as well what the film does also suffer from is also poorly casting Maran Kensray as Jafar. I think the problem is he just looks like a guy who just looks like he just came out from a costume party. I think what made Jafar work was that Jafar was maybe a little more flamboyant. He was a little more overboard. And I actually think what made his actor Jonathan Freeman work was that he was meant to be overboard. He was meant to be menacing. But I think as well what the film is trying to do is keep things up to date for modern Disney standards. And of course, it kind of has to kind of make some of the animal characters look a little too normal. And I think the biggest flaw is damaging Iago's character because in the animated film, Iago was more of a yes man who had to slowly go through a redemption arc. What made Gilbert Gottfried work as Iago was that you got this sense that Iago was getting fed up with working for Jafar. What made the return to Jafar work was that Iago had to go through his own redemption story. You got this sense that, yeah, obviously, they were trying to make Iago a little too normal as a parrot. But I kind of give the film credit is that it is trying to give Genie a bit more of a kind of more human-like character. But I think what made Robin Williams right for the role is that when he had to play serious, he could be serious. And one of the best moments was when Jafar took control of the ramp, and when and when Genie had to lift the palace on top of a large mountain, you could really get a sense that to Genie he didn't want to do it, but was forced to, and you can tell there was a sense of guilt, shame, and a bit of remorse for even doing it. I think the problem with Will Smith is that he's trying to sound too laid back. He's not trying to sound too overboard with what Robin Williams got right at. I think to me is that the 2019 remake of Aladdin is trying to work with what was given. It is trying to be a good film, but what we got in was just kind of having to fit things, twist things around, and fit into a film that clearly wasn't really truly meant to be. So I think this one definitely deserves a thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, kind of okay, just not something I would go back to anytime soon. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.